the most important thing you have to keep in mind is your fish's digestion. Digestion is the most important thing when it comes to goldfish, because if goldfish get constipated, hey, we don't like to talk about constipation. It's kind of like a taboo thing, but um, when goldfish get constipated, it could cause swim bladder disease and a number of other diseases that could actually kill them over time. Swim bladder disease can really affect a goldfish. It can make them swim upside down, and then they won't be able to, control their bodies, and they won't be able to eat, and then they'll die. A lot of people have been able to fix that by giving their goldfish peas. Peas act like a natural laxative to goldfish, and you really do have to make sure that you give your goldfish a variety of food, not just goldfish pellets. So the peas are really important because, like I said, they act as a natural laxative, and they will cleanse your fish's digestion system, preventing swim bladder disease and a number of other diseases that can come along with a constipated goldfish. So all you have to do is buy some store-bought peas. You don't have to buy anything special. It doesn't have to be organic or anything, but just store-bought peas. And you also have to make sure that you take the skins off, because the fish cannot digest the skins. They're too thick, and they will get severely constipated if they do eat a whole pea with the skin. So all you want to feed them is the innards, the green mushy stuff. When you take it out of the pea, it's kind of hard, so don't expect like when you're going to put it in your water, it's just going to turn to mush and cloudy water. No, it won't do that. It'll stay together, and once the fish eats it and crunches it up in its mouth, then it'll turn to mush, and it'll softly digest through their bodies. So you really want to make sure you do this, because if you don't, like I said, your fish can get severely constipated. They cannot digest the skins. So just take the peas out of the freezer, put them in the microwave for 5 seconds, leave them out on the counter for another minute. They can get nice and soft after that. Once that happens, just use your fingernail, or if you want, you can use a tiny little knife, make a small incision on the skin of the pea, and just pinch the innards out, the green stuff out of it. Once you do that, these little green innards of the pea will just sink to the bottom of the tank. They don't float, which is a really good thing, because they won't clog up your filtration system if you have a wet dry filter like me. And also your fish won't be going to the top and gulping up a ton of air. Also, that could cause swim bladder disease to eat the pea, which that's another really important thing. You really want to make sure you do not just throw food on the top and let your fish eat from the top, because when goldfish eat at the top, they ingest a lot of air because they're trying to suck at the pellet, and all this air is coming into their body. Most of the time they can expel the air, and if you do that, you can see bubbles coming out of their gills whenever they're trying to swallow the food, but still a small amount of air is still in there, and it could get into their bodies and cause swim bladder disease. So most important thing is when you feed them peas is you can feed them, the best way to feed them is to feed them with your hand. Hand feeding goldfish peas is a really cool thing. It's a really cool bonding experience with your goldfish, but it also ensures that your fish are eating underneath the water. They're not going up to the top and gulping up air. Also, if they sink to the bottom, it's not a big deal. My fish go crazy, and they'll search for endless hours endless minutes, hours, whatever, until they find it. So you don't have to worry about if they sink to the bottom. They're not gonna sit there and collect mold and stuff and ruin your water. They'll eventually eat them. So two really important things: don't feed your fish from the top. Do not buy floating pellet food. Feed your fish feed your fish goldfish. Feed your goldfish peas at least once a week. Even more, the more the better. Even if you mix peas into their daily diet, it would be really good for them. Also, goldfish like to eat a number of things, a number of green vegetables. They can eat spinach, lettuce, lots of stuff, even cooked soybeans, I think. So a really, wild mix of things that they can eat. But I prefer to stick to the simple things, because you really don't have to get too crazy. Peas are enough. They'll help them digest, and it's good for them. So it'll help them grow and stay strong and healthy. So you don't have to get all crazy and start throwing lettuce and spinach in there. Just the simple peas. But I just want to tell you guys, that they do also eat other stuff if you would like to feed your goldfish that. Now, the last and final thing you want to make sure you do when you feed your goldfish is, before you feed them the pellets, you soak the pellets in water. And it's very simple. You can just get a cup, scoop up some aquarium water, throw some pellets in, leave them in there for about 5 to 10 minutes, and they can get nice and soft and soggy. And when you put them in the water, they'll just sink to the bottom really slowly, and the goldfish should catch it before it gets to the bottom. But if it gets to the bottom, they'll still eat it. But the purpose of soaking the food in water is that it makes it very, very soft. It makes it mushy. It's so easy for them to digest. It'll never cause them constipation feeding goldfish like this. So you really want to make sure you do this because that can also prevent swim bladder disease. Even if you don't do this and you buy normal sinking goldfish pellets, the pellets are still hard and they're still very, very firm inside, and they're still very dry in the center of it. So, you know, that could go into the body, into their digestive system, and that can cause constipation over time. So, the most important thing to make sure your fish has a healthy digestive system is to feed them peas. Make sure you soak their food in water, and don't feed them from the top because it can cause swim bladder disease. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you guys watching this video. And if you have any other questions on goldfish, feel free to ask. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.